Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada Bhakti Vedanta Srila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Guru Deva Jai Guru Deva Guru Dev Guru Dev Guru Dev Jai Jaya Guru Dev Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Nitai Gauranga Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo Nitai Gauranga Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Privraj Acharya Stotra Sushi Shimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhaya Charanarvindam Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhakta Mahapurana Ki Jai Shri Balaram Purnima Mahatsava Ki Jai Shri Bhadra Purnima Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Kalachanji Ki Jai Shri Gaur Bhakta Brinda Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Ki Jai. Again, thank you everybody for attending today's program. Please put your hands together, chant with me, or after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and by the sweetest graces of my spiritual master, my darkened eyes were opened with a salve of love in the form of transcendental knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances, gratitude, and homage to him. Vanchakalpa Tarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhya Vaishnavebhya Namo Namaha. Let us offer respectful obeisances upon all Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who are just like desire trees, for they can fulfill all desires. What does it say? For they can fulfill. How does it go after that? Yeah, so they can fulfill all desires of all fallen conditioned souls. Jai Radhe. Okay, wonderful. So today, I'm going to be speaking about something that is actually considered like the most important subject matter of life, which is what is the purpose of life and how to achieve the goal of life, which is to be happy and to give happiness to others. How do you achieve that goal? How do you achieve the goal of being loved and giving love to others? How do we achieve the goal of being served and serving others? All three mean the same thing, by the way. So that is explained to us in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which are the books that you see here. But before we start speaking, again, I'm going to have you put your hands together and chant with me this prayer, because this prayer allows us to actually speak and hear from Krishna directly. So I don't want to say anything that comes from me, because my brand is that I know nothing about anything. So that's my brand. Okay? So nobody wants to listen to anybody who knows nothing about anything, right? You're not here to waste your time. But if I speak what Krishna wants me to say, and then you hear what Krishna wants you to hear, everything will be first class and success. For that, please put your hands together and repeat after me. Shri Guru Paramananda Premananda Phalaprada Vrajananda Pradhananda Sevaya Mam Niyojaya. Now please repeat in English so that our minds can understand. My dear spiritual master, who gives the fruit of the highest bliss, the bliss of love of Godhead, please engage me in the blissful service of Sri Krishna, who bestows bliss upon the land of Braja. So our heart is actually a very, very small part of the land of Braja. We all come from a place called Braja. Now there are some controversies where we came from, didn't come from. I want you to put those controversies aside and just hear what the Acharyas have said, that Srila Prabhupada repeated over and over again in his books, that we all emanate from this place called Braja. And the long name is Goloka Vrindavan. Go, Loka means place. Go to this place called Vrindavan. That's Goloka Vrindavan. We all come from there. Because we come from there, we bring a part of that to us, right? Some of you have come from India, so you brought a bit of a part of India to America, right? Some of you have come from, like I came from Fiji, brought a little part of Fiji to America. So all of us, wherever we've come from, we brought a little part of that to where we're staying now. But the one thing all of us have brought is Braja, Goloka Vrindavan, to us, with us, in our hearts. This is a spiritual heart. It's also where the physical heart is. The spiritual heart is where two souls reside. The little soul, that's the me for each of us, each of you. And the big soul, that's the expansion of Krishna called Paramatma, or the super soul. Okay? So this is Braja. This is where we should be living our lives. If you live your life here and you do things here, it'll become so amazing that one day it'll manifest outside. There's a nice, we do some leadership training for some very nice people. And one of the things we say to them is, your internals drive your externals. If the music playing outside is not very nice, it's only because the music playing here is not very nice. If life is not treating you nicely, it's because you're not treating yourself very nicely here. Everything starts inside. You've got to build from the inside and come outside. So Krishna is very kind. He says, he bestows bliss upon the land of Braja. In this heart, he has given us bliss in the form of the soul. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that every soul is amazing. If Krishna says it's amazing, you can imagine what it might be like, right? What we think is amazing is really very insignificant. But Krishna says something is amazing, then it must be truly amazing, like that. So this soul is constructed of three energies. These are the three energies of Krishna. Because we come from Krishna, we have these three energies. Those three energies are Sandhini, Samvit, and Ladini. Sandhini is the energy of existence, what manifests existence, how things exist and always exist. It's called Sandhini. It brings about Sat, because our soul is made of Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sat is made from the Sandhini energy. That Sandhini energy is exemplified, or what do they say, personalized? What do they mean when a person represents something? Personified. That energy is personified by Lord Balaram. And it is his appearance day that we celebrated on Friday, right? Is it Friday? Yeah, Friday. So this is why we worship Lord Balaram. On the altar we have Lord Balaram in two ways. On the left you see Lord Nityananda. That is also Lord Balaram. On the right, the third personality, well, the second personality after, or to the right of Lord Jagannath, first comes Mother Subhadra, and then comes Balaram, Lord Balaram. So he's there in two ways, okay? And then the Samvit energy gives us knowledge. It is the Chit potency, it gives us knowledge. And that is personified by Vidyavadu. Vidyavadu, just like Radharani is the consort of Krishna, Vidyavadu is the consort of Harinam Prabhu. Harinam, Vidyavadu, that's how we say like that. So Vidyavadu, by the name Vidya, you can understand. Vadu means to expand, to grow. Sometimes means the wife also, because the wife helps you grow. Men need growing up, and the women help them grow up like that when they get married to them. If nobody can fix you, your wife will fix you. There's a saying like that. So get married quickly. That reminded me while I was chanting Jai Radha Madhava. Sometimes pastimes come, you know. So this wonderful pastime of Krishna came in my mind. I thought I should tell you. It's a very nice pastime. So what happened is that Krishna, when he's a little boy, little child, is very naughty. So he has to sleep with Mother Yashoda. He insists, I must sleep with you on the same bed. But the problem is, he kicks her while he's sleeping. He rolls over her, climbs on her, you know, strangles her neck by trying to hug her at the time. So sometimes Mother Yashoda gets a little, you know, disturbed by that. She can't sleep properly, right? So what she does is, she tries to hold Krishna tightly to her chest and falls off to sleep. So that way, he can't move around too much. But Krishna complains, oh, Mama, I can't. He calls her, what does he call her? Maya, thank you. He calls her Maya. Maya, I can't sleep. You're smothering me. It's too tight. I can't sleep properly. So Mother says, okay, I'll tell you a story. Because she knows children like to hear stories, right, at bedtime. So you tell them a story, they'll fall off to sleep hearing the story, like that. So he says, okay, I'll tell you a story. So Krishna, okay, very nice. So then Krishna lets Mother Yashoda hold him, so he tells him the story. One time, there was a great king whose name was Ram. And so Krishna goes, you know, it's just making that sound, like that. And this king, his father's name was Dasrath. And Krishna goes, And then she says, and one time, he left his family, he left the kingdom, and went to the forest for 14 years. And Krishna goes, And then he says, and there was a very, very powerful demon whose name was Ravana. And Krishna's becomes stronger this time. And he says, So then Mother Yashoda continues. And so, one day, this Ravana kidnapped Lord Ram's beautiful wife, very, very nice wife, whose name was Sita. So Krishna didn't go home this time. So Mother Yashoda is thinking, Krishna, are you listening? He's thinking, he's fallen to sleep, right? Krishna, are you listening? Krishna goes, hmm. So he repeats. Mother Yashoda repeats. Think he didn't hear the first time, right? So he repeats. So, in the forest, one day, this great demon came and kidnapped Mother Sita. Krishna immediately got up, put his hand on his head. Lakshman, Lakshman, bring me my bow. This time I'm going to kill him immediately. Mother Yashoda says, Krishna, what happened to you? I was sleeping, right? And he's telling a story of somebody else, and this Krishna is going, Lakshman, Lakshman. He's saying things that she's going to say in the future. So Mother Yashoda says to Krishna, how do you know that? So he says, because I am Ram. And Mother Yashoda, you are not Ram, you are my son Krishna, now go back to sleep. Yeah. So Krishna does pastimes like this with Mother Yashoda, and that's why she loves him so very much, And so in Prabhupada's, what we call national anthem, Jai Radha Madhava, this part comes, right? Yashoda Nandana, like that. So this is a very important part of that prayer. Anyway, going back to our situation here. So in this prayer that we just prayed, we're opening up our hearts and we're allowing Krishna to come in a way and relate with us in a way that is truly, truly amazing, truly powerful. And so when we started, you might remember, we started with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, right? So that is the first line of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam starts with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and in that verse, it ends with Satyam Param Dhimai. Right? You look at the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, you'll see that there. So Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya says that we should always love Krishna dearly. Now, Lord Balaram, whose appearance day we just celebrated, his Mula mantra is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. He takes Krishna's pleasure as the root of his existence. Although he is God himself, he is complete God as Krishna is. Lord Balaram is also God like that. But he prefers not to act in the role of God. He prefers to act as a servant of Krishna. He wants to please Krishna. So he becomes our best example of how we can please Krishna. Like that. He's the best example. So we pray to him so that he will bless us, so that we will one day also come to love Krishna and serve Krishna with all of our heart and soul. And when you do that, then you will know everything there is to know. It is said in the Bhagavad Gita, Yomam evam samudo janati purushottamam sasarvavid bhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. One who knows Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, without doubting, is the knower of everything. That person always engages in the service of Krishna with all of his or her heart and soul. This is the essence of our life, like that. Okay? And then it says, Satyam Param Dhimai. What does Satyam mean? The truth, right? What is actually sustainable, always sustainable. Truth is always sustainable. What does Param mean? Param means the highest, right? And Dhimahi means meditation. So this is the highest meditation anybody can do. To always think of Krishna, to always be with Krishna. He's already there in your heart. You don't have to go out looking for him anywhere else. He's there. The biggest problem we have is we don't talk to Krishna in our own heart. Now you might say, if I talk to myself, people will laugh at me. They'll think I'm crazy. Nobody's asking you to say it loudly. Say it in your mind. Talk to yourself. You talk to your mind all the time anyway, right? And what has the mind done for you all these days? Not very much, right? We might say, oh, it did a lot for us. That's because we're very insignificant, so we think insignificant things are great. But actually the mind won't do great things for you because it's actually a limited tool for an unlimited soul. The soul is insignificant, but unlimited in its energy. It can never die. It always existed, exists now, will always exist into the future. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is actually a text that was written by Vyasadeva, and Vyasadeva wrote the Vedas. When he wrote the Vedas, the first part that he wrote, which concluded all the Vedas, was called the Rig Veda. But then when Kali Yuga came around, Lord Vyasadeva realized that people will not be too intelligent, they won't be too smart. Not most people, but it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam that in Kali Yuga, everybody is born all bad. I mean, don't think I'm criticizing you, it's not my words, by the way. Srimad Bhagavatam says that. So, but the reason is, Kali Yuga is the age when in the other ages you never made it back to Godhead. So all the rejects fall into Kali Yuga. You see what I'm saying? And we are the rejects, and we're now trying to become the best of the rejects. We're elevating ourselves to a higher level amongst the rejects. That's what's happening. So, Prabhupada defines it very nicely. He says that the living entities in Kali Yuga, the humans in Kali Yuga, can be defined by 3 words. They're slow, lazy, and misguided. Slow is not too bad because you can be in mode of goodness and slow, right? So long as you're progressing. Like they say a turtle or tortoise, right? It progresses, not like the hare. Instead of being a hare, be a hare. It'll be more helpful being a hare than a hare, okay? So the idea is that's progressing. Lazy is not too bad either because lazy intelligence can make you a very smart person. Because in lazy intelligence, you try to figure out how in very little time you can do a lot. So you can laze around the rest of the time. See? So that's also very good. But misguided is not good. Misguided puts us in illusion. What is the illusion of Kali Yuga? What is the illusion of the material world? Illusion means, well, first let's say it doesn't mean false. Illusion does not mean false. Illusion means that we're misidentified. Just like in the dark, we see a rope and we think it's a snake. Rope is real, snake is real, but that rope is not snake. Similarly, the world is real, we're real, but our association with the world is not correct. We're thinking this world was designed for my sense enjoyment, whereas actually the world was designed for us to understand that the best way to enjoy is to actually serve Krishna and Krishna's creation, like that. Krishna's devotees, Krishna's paraphernalia, his creation, like that. So, when we're misguided, then we're taken the wrong way. Knowledge is given to us to actually live in illusion. But when we're properly guided, we go towards spiritual life. And spiritual life starts with the blessing of Lord Balaram. So this is why Lord Balaram's presence is very necessary in our lives, like that. So, the Srimad Bhagavatam, how it happened was that after Vyasadeva wrote all of the Vedas, which included the 4 Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sam Veda, Atharva Veda, whatever was left over from the Rig Veda was put into the 2 Itihasas, the Ramayana and Mahabharata. And what didn't fit into that was put into 18 Puranas. But when he came to the 17th Purana, he realized that he said everything, but he's still not happy. So his spiritual master, Narada Muni, came and advised him that you have not written the essence of the Vedas very clearly. You've written the Vedas in such a way that sometimes people can be confused. Is it okay to be in the mode of ignorance? Is it better to be in the mode of goodness? What is wrong with the mode of passion? Because it gives you these benefits also. Like that. So different things. To clarify, please write what is the essence of the Bhagavad Gita, which is that Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the purpose of our life is actually to engage in his loving devotional service. So then, Vyasadeva wrote the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the auto-commentary on all of the Vedas. The Vedas contain billions and billions of verses. So he wrote the Srimad Bhagavatam. The original Srimad Bhagavatam was 1 billion verses. When Kali Yuga came around, it was condensed to 18,000 verses. What we see here is 18,000 verses, and people think it's too long. Now, yes, it is longer than Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is 700 verses, but many people can be guilty of being said to, you have not even read the Bhagavad Gita yet, right? 700 verses. But the Srimad Bhagavatam is very, very important to us, like that. So what is the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam, and what does Bhadra Purnima mean? I'm going to start with the second question first. Bhadra Purnima is the full moon night in the month of Bhadra. So this year, in the month of Bhadra, the 7th of September happens to be Bhadra Purnima. Purnima is pretty much either the middle or the end of the month, like that. So on Bhadra Purnima, the Srimad Bhagavatam, and the conclusion of the Srimad Bhagavatam says, if anybody donates a set of the Srimad Bhagavatam to someone else on the day of Bhadra Purnima, then that person will go back to Godhead. Now we might say, we've had so many boons in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and other people saying, if you do this, then this will happen. And then some of us complain, but nothing's happening. My life is not very different from what it was. Sometimes it even gets worse, right? So how can you say that you're getting all these boons? The answer is that the boon is given to the soul, not to the senses, the mind, intelligence, and false ego. These are tools given to us, just like, the phone that we have with us, right? This is a tool that I have. That's not me. That's a tool that I have. So similarly, the senses, the mind, intelligence, and false ego that start with S-M-I-F, I call them the Smiths. The Smiths is not who you are. You're not the Smiths. You are the Patels. No, I'm just joking. So, okay, getting closer. Thank you. So, the idea is that you're spirit soul. We're all spirit soul. And the spirit soul is the one that is being given the boon. That's been given the boon. So, that boon can only be realized when we become self-realized. Means we've given up consciousness of material life or material energy. We've given up that consciousness and we're totally in spiritual consciousness. That takes a little while happening. Prabhupada says 30 to 40 years. You should be able to do that. Now it may take a little longer. For some people it takes less, depending on previous lives, what we did or didn't do. So this Srimad Bhagavatam, this is the set here, and this is why this set has been shown here. And so please, if you don't have a set in your own home, if you have a set in your own home, you will see, as I describe the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, why the Srimad Bhagavatam is so very important. You'll realize that having a set in your home is most essential. Even better than your breathing, essential. Because if you have a set of Bhagavatams in your home, then Krishna is there in your home. Just like in this temple, Krishna is here. As Kalachandji, as Lord Jagannath, as Govindji, like that. Different personalities. All of them are same Krishna. So, at least make sure that you have a Srimad Bhagavatam at home. Now when you do that, whatever you're supposed to achieve in this life, you will achieve. That I call 1x. Now if you want to multiply that 1x into 2x, 3x, 5x, 100x, then you give away that many sets of Bhagavatam on Purnima Day to others. So take advantage of this program. Amazingly enough, this year, Bhadra Purnima falls on a Sunday. So that's an easy day to go to somebody's home and give them a set of Bhagavatams, right? And you're supposed to give them on a golden throne. Now, naturally you don't have golden thrones. So I ordered some 4 years ago, because we started this program quite a few years ago. And I have some at home. If any of you are giving away a Bhagavatam set, I'll just give you the golden throne to put the Bhagavatam on when you actually, one of the volumes on, to give away to the person that you're giving it away to. Okay? So that way you've achieved what we're doing. So, what are the glories of the Srimad Bhagavatam? Why is the Srimad Bhagavatam so very important? So, amongst the greatest devotees who ever walked on this planet were 6 devotees who are known as the 6 Goswamis. And you'll see their picture on the altar where all the Guru Parampara are, starting from Prabhupada, then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, then Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj, then Bhakti Vinod Thakur on the right of the fountain, and then Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. And then there's 6 Goswamis there. Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatan Goswami, Srila Jiva Goswami, Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, and Srila Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. These 6 Goswamis there. Amongst them, the one of them who's very prolific in his writings is Sanatan Goswami. And so he wrote amazing books. These 6 Goswamis were asked by Gauranga Mahaprabhu to summarize all of the knowledge of this world into texts. And they wrote amazing, amazing texts. One of them, in one of the books that he wrote, this is Jiva Goswami, in his Sat Sandarbhas, wrote 400,000 verses. Srimad Bhagavatam is 18,000 verses. You know, that's like 22 times Srimad Bhagavatam. And that's just one of the books he wrote, called the Sat Sandarbha. You can see how powerful these personalities were, right? So, Sanatana Goswami, he also wrote a lot, and one of the texts he wrote was, what are the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam? And that's what I was asked to speak about today. So I won't read the Sanskrit. If you want these from me, just ask me, I'll send it to you by email or something, you can read the Sanskrit. But this is Srila Sanatana Goswami describing the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. So he starts by saying, O nectar from the ocean of all scriptures. Imagine all the scriptures is one ocean, right? Big ocean of all scriptures. The nectar from it. What is the nectar? The best that you can come out from that ocean. When they churned the ocean, what happened? First poison came out. So somebody had to take that poison. Lord Shiva agreed to do that. Therefore his neck became blue in color and is known as Nilakant. He accepted that poison, held it in his throat. So he's known as Nilakant, like that. But then after the nectar came, after the poison came, nectar. And because the demons and the demigods were churning the ocean, both of them wanted the nectar. And so they had a bit of a tussle, and in that tussle, some personalities got the worst end of the stick. One of them was Rahu Ketu. His head got, dislocated or taken off. Let's put it this way. So it became the two planets, Rahu and Ketu, like that. But at the end, the demigods got the nectar, like that. So this is the nectar from the ocean of all scriptures. That was just the salt ocean. This is a real nectarian ocean we're talking about. Singular fruit of all the Vedas. If you take all the Vedas, there's only one real fruit that the Vedas have. And this is the singular fruit of the Vedas. Just like, you come to a nice mango tree because the mango is considered the king of all fruits. We like to pick nice ripe mangoes, right? They've ripened on the tree, especially if it's been touched by the beak of a parrot. That mango is going to be very sweet, right? We all want that mango. Imagine there was only one mango in the whole tree sitting on the top. There'd be quite a tussle to get up there, right? Everybody will be a smart mango tree climber, right? All know how to climb a mango tree just to get to that fruit. This is the singular fruit of all the Vedas. Rich mind of the precious gems of all conclusive truths. So you take all the conclusive truths of this world and make it into a big mine of conclusive. This is the best gem from that mine. Okay? Gems are very powerful. I remember 3 years ago, there was a devotee who was the president of one of our temples in East Asia, in the Orient, and closer to Asia, South Asia. And so one day, a lady came to his temple and was crying. So he said, "Mata, why are you crying?" And she said, "I lost my husband." So he said, "I'm so sorry that you lost your husband." She said, "That's not why I'm crying." So you wonder, why are you crying? He said, "Well, he left me a nice ruby and emerald, ruby and sapphire mine, and I don't know how to do that business. So I need somebody to help me so I can continue, that business can continue." So he said, "But I'm just a devotee. What can I do to help?" "No, I know you devotees can do anything. So if you become part owner, I'll give you half the share profits." So he thought, wow, that's pretty good. Now we're fixed for life, right? But then the GBC told him, you can't do that because then, everybody will chase money instead of chasing Krishna. So they put it into another business and they ran that business that way. So one day he was visiting around the world. We came to Dallas and he's a friend of mine. He's now left his body. And so he gave me a very small ruby and he said, "Well, how much do you think this ruby is worth?" I said, "Surely it's worth thousands of dollars." So it's worth $800,000 wholesale, millions of dollars retail. One little ruby, just the tip of my finger. I was thinking to myself, wow. And I said, and he said, "I carry a number of rubies and sapphires. I've got $5 or $10 million worth of ruby in my pocket." You see what I'm saying? This is how expensive rubies are and gems are. I can give you really nice investment advice, by the way, but this is not an investment lecture, so yeah, come and hear investment lecture later from me. So actually, the Srimad Bhagavatam is the best of all the gems in the mine of all conclusive truths. Then he says, you are the only giver of light to the worlds, because you cannot see anything without light. You need light to see. This is the only giver of light to all the worlds, he says. And then he says in the next sentence, O life heir of the Supreme Lord's devotees. So if we think we're devotees, Srimad Bhagavatam should be like the life heir of us. We have to treat it like that. Every day you read the Srimad Bhagavatam, 5 minutes in the morning, think about what you read during the day, and read again the same 5 minutes in the evening to remind yourself how much you remember during the day. You'll learn that you remember nothing, because our intelligence is not very good. You know, we're slow, lazy, and misguided. So obviously intelligence is not working well. But within weeks, and latest a month of reading like that, you'll notice you're starting to remember very well. Your intelligence is being built. That intelligence is very powerful. I just gave you $1 billion advice here. You know, please send me your checks with lots of zeros in it, with at least the number 1 in front of them. Then it says, O Master Srimad Bhagavatam, you are the sun risen in the darkness of Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is the age, the dark, dense age of quarrel and hypocrisy. And you can see that all around us, right? In this world, a lot of quarrel, a lot of hypocrisy, right? And so what Kali Yuga does is actually, it's like the sun that's risen in that darkness. You are the exact image of Sri Krishna. How do you like that? Srimad Bhagavatam is the exact image of Sri Krishna. You want to see Krishna face to face? Take a Srimad Bhagavatam home, look at it every day, read 5 minutes in the morning, think what you read during the day, read the same 5 minutes in the evening, and keep doing that until you've read the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. You will be amazed that you will actually see Krishna face to face, not just in deity form, just like you're seeing here, us face to face. That's how powerful this Srimad Bhagavatam is. Then he says, I bow down to you, who are supremely blissful to read, because we're all looking for happiness in our lives. Your every syllable pours down a flood of prema. Prema means love. Every syllable. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om is 1 syllable, right? Namo, 2 syllables. Bhagavate, 3 syllables. Right? So, just 1 syllable, any 1 syllable from the whole 18,000 verses, any 1 syllable from those 18,000 verses pours down a flood of prema. Now this is a good flood, by the way. It's not going to take your house away. It'll take your material house away, but give you a nice spiritual house. It's much bigger than the material house. You can always be served by everyone. This I love the most. You do not have to be a devotee. You do not have to be initiated. You don't have to believe in Krishna. You don't have to believe anything. You can be like me, know nothing about anything. And this Srimad Bhagavatam will change everything for you in a miraculous way. You are Sri Krishna himself. Then it says, this one I like the most of all the stanzas. This is the 4th stanza. He has 5 stanzas like this. The 4th stanza says, my only friend. We're all looking for friends. In fact, it is said that the number 1 malaise in this world is people don't have friends. They feel like nobody loves me. I don't have a real friend. I feel lonely. This is our only friend. And we don't want that friend, but we want some of the other friends who don't want us. We want them. It's a funny thing about human life. What you should not want, you'll want very much. What you should want and is easily available, you won't think about it too much. But this is Srimad Bhagavatam, my only friend, my constant companion. He always stays with us in our heart as Paramatma. Always with us. Srimad Bhagavatam is always with us. Now come to learn about that person inside you. By reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, you'll come to know that person well. And you'll realize, wow, what a great person this person is. I have nothing to worry about. There's nothing we should worry about. The fact that we worry, that we have anxiety, that we have depression, simply means that we separated ourselves from Krishna. Anybody who is connected to Krishna will never have any anxiety, depression, or what is the other word that I used? Worries. I want to say worries. Anxiety, depression, there's another word. Anyway, So my point is, now you will still have anxiety, you will still have depression, because your false ego is still sitting there. The Smiths are still there. These are the guys who love these things. They love to worry, they love to have anxiety, and they love to have depression, because then they can force you to do things you don't want, right? So those are their weapons. Then it says, my great wealth. Now you hit the bell. You know how you go to that show and you take a big hammer and hit the bell, and it's supposed to go up and hit the bell on the top, right? If you hit the bell on the top, you won a prize. It's called ding. You know, you dinged it, right? So this is the big ding, wealth. Everybody loves wealth. Everybody chases wealth. In Kali Yuga it is said, wealth will be God. God will be wealth. People think wealth is God. And in America, we're very honest people. You know, our dollar bill, we print it there. In God we trust. You see what I'm saying? So we make sure that everybody knows that we're honest people. My Savior. Now in these times of difficulty, we really need saviors. We need people who can help us. My Savior. My good fortune. If you thought wealth was not good enough, now comes fortune. Your good fortune. If you want good fortune, here it is. This is the good fortune. If you don't have this and you don't have good fortune, don't blame anybody else. Normally when we blame somebody else, what happens? 3 fingers are pointing at me, right? 1 is pointing up at God, 1 is pointing at the person, and 3 are pointing at me, right? We've got to fix ourselves. Stop worrying about fixing anybody else. Fix yourself. Amazing how other things fix very nicely. Then it says, my source of ecstasy. Now that's very big, right? Everybody is looking for pleasure. Everybody is looking for happiness. In fact, the purpose of life is to be happy and to give happiness, because Ananda is what the third energy, Ladini Shakti, is made from. And that Ladini Shakti is personified by Radharani. That's why we should always pray to Radharani when we come to the temple and you see Radharani, pray to her. And what does she do? She's got a hand out like this. Don't worry, I'm here. Don't worry, be happy. Otherwise you should worry. But when Radharani is around, don't worry, be happy. Because she is there. Then it says, I bow down to you. Okay, so my only friend, my constant companion, my spiritual master. Oh, by the way, I didn't read that part, did I? My spiritual master. Wow. How do you like that? So some of you now who are not initiated, you got no excuse. There's the spiritual master. Right? And if you accept Srimad Bhagavatam spiritual master, Srimad Bhagavatam will jump out with a personality, and that personality will become your spiritual master. Or maybe more than one. You might have some Siksha Gurus, one Diksha Guru, and maybe some other Marg Padasha Gurus like that. All these amazing things happen. When you come to devotional life, let me tell you what devotional life is characterized by. Devotional life is an unfolding miracle. Devotional life is an unfolding miracle with bursts of material energy interference. Every so often, the material energy will interfere. But if you take the interference out, devotional life is pure bliss. Right? You notice that? When you come to the temple, everything's fine. You go outside the temple, seems like everything comes right back at you, right? It's like, I'm back again. You know, here goes more trouble. Like that. And that is why devotees, once they come to devotional life, they never give it up. Right? I'm going to assume all of you are devotees here, but even if you're not, if you feel like you're not, please answer this question. How many of you would give up your spiritual life, would give up Krishna consciousness if I gave you $10 billion? How many? Some of you are shy. You're worried that if they see your hand up, my hand is up. I'm encouraging you. Join me. Anybody? Join us. Give up your spirit for $10 billion. Why not? Why don't you give up Krishna consciousness for $10 billion? That's a lot of money. You agree? How many of you have $1 billion in your bank account? Hand up. Wow. Can take binoculars and now one hand up. So 10 billion is 10 times that, right? And yet not one of you put your hand up. Why? What's the reason? Come on, don't be shy. Some of you know the reason. You know why you in Krishna consciousness, why you love it. Or you'll never give it up for anything, not even the heavenly kingdom, right? If they gave you Brahmaloka, you will say, sorry, not interested. Why? Yes. Prahlad Maharaj said, everything else is like a broken piece of glass compared to the real gem. That's Prahlad Maharaj. What about you? You cannot put a price on your soul. Why? People do that all the time. They sell their soul for a few dollars. Have you ever seen the movie for a few dollars more? Right? There are lots of things people give their soul up for. You don't. Others do. Why don't you do it? Yes. You're dying. Yeah, my friend. My food. Yeah, what happened? Yeah, very good. And you came from a background where you didn't have that, right? And now you found it. You're not going to give it up for anything. You found happiness. You found peace. You found real food. Not the junk food that's out there. Not just salt and pepper everything, to make it taste nice. Right? Found everything. Real friends. Some of the friends we have here, maybe all the friends, at least for me, it's all the friends here, I would never give up for any amount of money. I wouldn't even give up their friendship. Forget my Krishna consciousness for any amount of money. Why? These are priceless friends. None of these friends have come to me and asked me for money. I have asked them for money. But they never asked me for money. I had to ask them for money because I was the temple president. So, I had to ask for money to run the temple. But I never asked for money, and they don't ask money for me too. And they're the best friends, right? Highly educated, well paid, happy people. What else do you want, right? So, so you can see. We would not give up our Krishna consciousness for anything, right? So here's the spiritual master who gives that blessing. I just did a program this morning. Prabhuji was there. Dauji Nitai Prabhu is one of the leaders of that program, the Gita Mandir program. And so, it wasn't that. Sorry, it was somewhere else. It was a class we did yesterday at Tyler, Texas, I think. Somebody asked me the question that, I forgot the question. Okay, I'll remember it. When I remember it, I'll come back to it. Okay, then the last verse. Now, this is a really nice verse. Or bestow of saintliness to the unsaintly. We're unsaintly. This bestows saintliness to us, makes you a saint. Right? Right? So what is your name, sir? Huh? Vamsi Krishna. Okay, you already got a good name. Let's try another name. Well, okay, let's leave it at that. Let's leave it. Vamsi Krishna, right? How would it be, how would you feel if they knew you as Saint Vamsi? That would be big, right? Whoa, Saint Vamsi? Oh my God. That's real elevation, right? Srimad Bhagavatam makes you a saint. Now you want to become a saint? Here's the person who will do it. Srimad Bhagavatam. Oh, bestower of saintliness to the unsaintly. We are all unsaintly, by the way. Oh, exalter of the most fallen. Wow, how great is that, right? None of us is the most fallen here, by the way. Prabhupada said that you're not the most anything. There's someone always more than you in everything that we have. But even if you are the most fallen, this is the book, this is the Srimad Bhagavatam, that will make you exalted. Exalted means great. Like, good example is President Trump. He's exalted. He's the President of the United States of America. Now, some of you may not like him. I'm not asking you to vote for him or not vote for him. But he's in an exalted position, right? How many of you think you're going to become the President of the United States of America? Put your hand up. Come on. One of you put the hand up? No. No. Why? The most important reason, it's sour grapes. You're not going to make it. So don't even try. That's called the philosophy of sour grapes. The fox was trying to catch the grapes, couldn't find the grapes, the grapes must be sour. It's not easy to become the President of the United States of America. Very hard. President Nixon took 32 attempts before he became the President of the United States of America. That's how hard you have to work. You have to work not just your tail off, you have to work your whole body off, including every hair on your head. That's why presidents start with black hair and end up with blonde hair. And sometimes bald hair. And that includes temple presidents. And that's why, no, that's not why I'm wearing this. I'm wearing this because a great Chinese sage told me that if you keep your crown covered, then any sickness coming into you can be easily driven out. But if it comes through the crown, it's very hard to drive it out. And I came very close to death during COVID. So I decided after that to wear it, and since then I've been fine. So that's why you'll always see me putting something on my head like that. It's just to cover this. And you'll see in most major religions, they do the same thing. The Jews do that, the Muslims do that, the Hindus do that. They all wear turbans, right? They cover this. The women are very smart. They always cover it. I'm talking about women in some cultures. All of them wear it. They don't wear it because of any other reason. It's because they cover this part, then it happens. And the Jews don't like this too much, so they have a little small one that just covers that much. The Indians wear the big one. Big hang out on that. The bigger it hangs out, the more important you are. And the Muslims wear a little medium-sized one also. Arabs also do the same. Okay, then it says, O bestower of saintliness to the unsaintly, O exalter of the most fallen, please never leave me. Please appear in my heart and my voice with pure love. How nice is that, right? It introduces pure love in your heart and your voice. Always have pure love in your heart and always have love in your voice. If you do these two things, of course, when I speak sometimes you might say, I'm being critical. I'm not being critical. This is tough love, saying the right thing, but it sometimes makes us feel a little hard hearing it because it sounds a little cruel, but it's not. It's meant for our great benefit. So these are the glories of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And if we actually read the Srimad Bhagavatam every day, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, like they say, right? You read the Bhagavatam every day, hear the Bhagavatam every day, speak with love of Krishna, hear with love of Krishna, then amazing things will happen in our lives. And this is actually Krishna consciousness. All right, thank you very much. Dot on 6:15. Anybody has any questions that you'd like to ask while we set up the... is the video set up? Oh, it's set up. You're ready, right? Yes. You show it? Okay. Any quick questions before we show you a 2-minute video about Srimad Bhagavatam, distributing Srimad Bhagavatam? It's about how it was distributed in a small village in India. That's what the mini video is about. Any quick questions? No? You're fine? Yes, sir. Should you read from the first canto to the last? Yeah. Generally speaking, yes, it's the best thing to do because especially Srila Prabhupada's purports, he gave it in that way. That if you read from the beginning to the end, the purports will make the most sense. But you don't have to. Srimad Bhagavatam is like a sugar cane. Wherever you bite, it's sweet. But they do say that you should read the first 9 cantos before you read the 10th canto. And hopefully first 9 and second last, the 11 and 12, then read 10 last. Because 10 is very complex in the form, in the way of the heart understanding it properly. So we don't misunderstand. You read the 10th last. But idea is that one should read it from one end to the other end. So if you do read 10 before 11 and 12, it's fine. But the recommendation by the acharyas, read 10 after you finish all the others. And do read them in order because of Prabhupada's. The acharyas don't recommend any order for the other 11. But Prabhupada recommends read from the beginning because he wrote his purport in that way. The purport was spoken by Krishna himself. And it was arranged in that way so we can understand properly like that. Does that make sense? Thank you. Yes. Yes, sir. No, you don't have to follow any ritual. What you do is before you read, pray to the Srimad Bhagavatam and say, I'm sorry I'm saying this, but this is what I say. I'm sorry, I say to Srimad Bhagavatam, I'm sorry, but I'm a fool. I know nothing. You know everything. Please bless me so that I should also know, I also come to learn what I need to know so I can please you the most. I offer that prayer and then I say it. And if you say a mantra after that, that mantra is on the board. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, like that. It's perfect. Then you can start. But the idea is, Lord Krishna, when he woke up in the morning, he doesn't like to take a bath. He's very stingy about his bath, you know. So what he does, he wakes up in the morning and he first washes his hands. Then he washes his feet. Then he washes his face. So minimally do that much. Wash your hands, your feet, and your face. Say this. You can say it in your own words, not exactly how I said it. You know, I'm so ignorant. I would like to be knowledgeable. Please help me come to know the correct knowledge, and then start reading like that. And so most of us touch it to our head, a sign of respect. Like, that makes sense? Thank you. Very nice question. Perfect question.